Did you know that at his peak, Alan Bond owed more money than the entire GDP of several small countries? That's not just a wild comparison, it's a jaw-dropping fact that shows just how massive his financial footprint was. Imagine a single man's debts outweighing the economies of entire nations. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. The scale of Bond's borrowing was almost cartoonish, and it left people everywhere stunned. Today, I'm diving into the wild story of how Alan Bond, Australia's glitziest tycoon, built a house of debt so grand, only for it all to come crashing down. His empire was the stuff of legend, opulent homes, city skylines transformed, and a lifestyle that screamed excess. Let's rewind. It's the 1980s and Alan Bond is living large. Picture mega yachts, flashy parties, and billion-dollar deals. The world was his playground, and he played bigger than anyone else. He wasn't just buying companies, he was buying sports teams, breweries, even America's Cup glory for Australia. Bond was everywhere, on the front pages, at the biggest events, and always in the spotlight. But here's the twist. Most of it was bought with borrowed cash. He was the king of leverage, using other people's money to fuel his ambitions. Huge banks, sensing opportunity, were throwing money at him. They saw Bond as a golden ticket, a sure bet in a booming economy. Bond's empire ballooned fast, but beneath the shine, it was mostly air. The assets looked impressive, but the foundation was shaky, propped up by loans and risky bets. He kept buying, kept borrowing, rolling loans into new loans. It was a dizzying cycle, and every new deal depended on the last one not falling apart. On paper, he was a billionaire. In reality, he was burning through cash he never really had. The illusion of wealth was powerful, but it couldn't last forever. The banks didn't care. Yet. As long as the numbers looked good, no one asked too many questions. The party kept going. But debt always comes due. No matter how high you climb, the bills eventually land on your desk. When the economy dipped in the late 80s, interest rates soared. Suddenly, Bond's loans became a noose. The financial world turned on a dime, and Bond was caught off guard. His assets, those breweries, those companies, weren't worth nearly what he paid. The market crashed, and the value of his empire evaporated almost overnight. The banks started to panic. Suddenly, everyone wanted their money back, and no one wanted to lend more. Bond tried to juggle, selling off bits to keep the rest standing. He scrambled to raise cash, but it was too little, too late. But it was like patching holes on a sinking ship. Every fix just revealed another leak, and the water kept rising. Eventually, the whole house of debt caved in. The collapse was sudden, dramatic, and total. Bond Corporation collapsed in 1992, leaving behind a trail of losses worth billions. The fallout was felt across Australia and beyond. Investors, employees, entire communities felt the shockwaves. People lost jobs, savings vanished, and towns that depended on Bond's companies were left reeling. So why did it all happen? How could someone so successful fall so hard, so fast? Simple. Bond thought the good times would never end. He believed the party would go on forever, and he bet everything on that belief. He gambled on growth, ignored the risks, and the banks followed him blindly. It was a classic case of hubris, overconfidence that blinded everyone to the dangers ahead. When the music stopped, there wasn't even a chair left for Bond to sit on. The game was over, and he was left standing alone. Alan Bond's rise and fall is a lesson for every finance buff. It's a story about ambition, risk, and the dangers of believing your own hype. Chasing growth with debt can build empires, until reality checks in. The higher you climb, the harder the fall if you're not careful. Remember, even the flashiest tycoons can be wiped out overnight if the foundations aren't real. True wealth is built on solid ground, not just borrowed dreams. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as I did, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the wildest stories in finance.